All right, Matt, before we get into talking about Camp Freedom, because you know it's one of my favorite places to go.
It is. I'm glad.
And looking forward to this summer. I want to know about you. Where you came from, how'd you get here, all the good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I was born in Allentown, Pennsylvania, so down in the Lehigh Valley. Grew up in Palmerton. Basically all of my childhood. I was there till I went to college. Grew up in Palmerton. My dad is a 40-year plus high school coach, so we're very sports oriented as a family. Went through high school, graduated, went and played football at Dickinson College, so out in Carlisle. Spent 4 years there, graduated with a political science degree. Interesting enough. Never did anything with it, but graduated with it.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. But we did that, and then I went into the military. I went to Dickinson. It was a very, very middle-class family. We couldn't afford to go to Dickinson. I went there on an ROTC scholarship.
Nice.
Went into the Army afterwards. I had a 4-year commitment. At that time, 3-year point, I put in for an early out. That was when they were, back in 1994, when they were letting officers out of the military early because there was just an abundance in that time frame. So I got out at 3 years and I think 2 months. Did the rest of my 4 years on inactive ready reserve, which is really not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then from there, pastored churches for the last 27 and a half years. Pastored 4 different church plants over that time, Pennsylvania and Colorado.
Wow.
And spent 12 years out in Colorado. Went there in, 2006, stayed there to 2018.
Okay.
And I came back here for the purpose of Camp Freedom and what I'm doing now. So,
and then you told me just before we got on here about you did some radio shows too. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, I loved
that's
it.
cool.
I had a show for I guess about 3 years. It was called The Outdoor Journey.
Yeah.
And Ty Morgan and I on a country station out there in Colorado would do our show, and it was great. A lot of fun.
That's awesome.
A lot of fun.
Awesome. So how did you even was Camp Freedom first, or were you first, or what happened there?
Well, I have my best friend growing up was Jaime Mendez. We're still very good friends, but we were inseparable growing up. Jaime, I'll never forget it. It's a perfect immigrant story. Jaime moved here when he was in 2nd grade, couldn't speak a word of English. I met him literally weeks after he moved to the United States. He grew up like 2 blocks from me. And we started hanging out because he was athletic and we were young, but all we do is play sports. That's what we did.
Yeah,
we were outside all the time. So we built a friendship, have been friends all of our life. And he started telling me when I was in Colorado, maybe 6 years ago, hey, there's this guy in Allentown who loves to hunt. I have a company called Journey Hunts and take people hunting all over the world. And he's like, hey, I've got a guy you need to meet because he loves to hunt. He kept telling me about this guy, Bill. You got to meet this guy, Bill. You got to meet this guy, Bill. So finally, one time I was coming back here to visit, and Jaime said, let's go to dinner. I'll set it up with Bill. We went to dinner. Bill had just purchased, Bill Bockenberg, he's the owner of Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays. He had just purchased the property that is now Camp Freedom, and he purchased it with the intent of giving access to individuals with disabilities. So that was his focal point, and that's what he wanted to do. For the next couple of years, when I would come home, I'd visit Jaime, I'd go out to dinner with Bill or go to lunch with Bill, and I'd ask him, hey, how's it coming? What's going on at the camp? Because it intrigued me.
Yeah.
And it was always, Bill's super busy. He's got his hands in lots of different activities, businesses. He's on a lot of boards. And so it was always the same as, I can't get anything done. I'm not making any progress. Can't get anything done there. So at one point, I said I'd never move back east. But at one point, I brought my son back home to play football back here because we were in a very small, 45 minutes from a grocery store, rural area.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I knew he had the potential to play at the next level, wasn't going to get looks. So we brought him back here, and he played for my father. So it was really cool. But while we were back here for those 10 weeks, my daughters, I have 2 daughters who are 1 year and 1 year below him. So 1 year and 2 years below him, the right 3 in a row. They started saying, hey, we would like to be back here too. We would like to be back here too. And Kelly and I were intent on never, ever moving back. But the pressure became quite a lot from the kids, and we didn't make the decision because of that. We saw the potential for them here, and we decided to start considering moving back. And that's when I reached out to Bill and said, hey, Bill, what about if you would build this camp and build it on the basis of veterans and first responders, their family members and Gold Star families, because I saw that as such a huge segment with very little care outside of traditional care. And that's kind of the gap that I thought we could fill. And so we started building this January 1st of 2018 and built it from scratch.
Okay.
You know?
Well, at 1,800 acres, right?
1,800
acres. I mean, becoming a commissioner, that was probably one of the best things for me, is to meet you and get there and see what you guys are doing. And basically, you were just getting started too.
Right.
So,
Right.
but you guys have the new building there, the house.
Yeah.
How many men you have, or how many people you have there working with you? I know I met a bunch of them.
Yeah, for 2 years we started off. It was just really me and two other guys, two great guys, and we started doing everything with just three of us, and it was overwhelming. I mean, just you're starting a nonprofit. You can't hire a bunch of people. You rely on volunteers. Still to this day, we rely on volunteers heavily.
Yeah.
But there were three of us for about 2 years plus, just grinding. Long days, long hours. But it's what it took to get it done. You just have to do it. Now our staff is comprised of 10 people overall. It's still about a third of what we would really need to do what we need to do. But our volunteer base has grown immensely. Like last year, just to give you a kind of a picture of where it came from, in 2018, our first year, we started operating in October, actually taking guests, and we took 49 guests, and we were thrilled with that. That's 49 vets or first responders.
Mm-hmm.
We were thrilled. It was awesome. They were on campus, and we had a handful of volunteers that just came around. 2019, we jumped to over 700 veterans, first responders, family members, and Gold Star families. And our volunteers jumped to like 177 is what it was that year. And I was like, ooh, this is really gaining momentum. It's really getting good. This last year, in the middle of a pandemic, so we couldn't do some of our big events. We couldn't do some of the stuff we'd like to do. But in spite of that, we jumped to over 1,400 vets and first responders on Camp Freedom ground, family members also, and it exploded. But here's what's really exciting to me. We had 339 people volunteer who are neither veterans or first responders. And they just want to help. They want to help the cause. They get it. They understand that this is an underserved segment of our culture that they want to get behind. These are those real American heroes that they want to get behind. Yeah. So we now are getting a lot of manpower, a lot of great hours out of great people who don't just come once very often. I've got volunteers that show up 2 days every week. I've got volunteers that show up once a month. I got volunteers that show up once a quarter, some once a year, but they're consistent and they keep coming. So we've really built it out in 3 years' time. We fast tracked, and a lot of it has to do, frankly, with the generosity and the network of Bill and Laura Bockenberg, our founders. They're the most generous people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. And they were networked at very high levels to enable us to fast track what we were building out. Yeah.
Well, I got to meet him at the banquet last year, and I was able to present him with a proclamation.
I remember that.
And it was just an awesome night.
Yeah, that banquet kind of treated you good.
Oh yeah, I did okay.
Yeah, you won a nice gun safe.
Nice gun safe with some toys in it.
Yes, it was quite
great.
Awesome.
They thought it was rigged, but it wasn't rigged.
Definitely not rigged. That's why we draw live.
Nope. And I got to sit at the head table with General Wolf and General
great guy.
Gronsky.
Yeah,
that just a fun night. I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, I know.
You talk about today. I just signed the 20th table of 30 tables. We have sold 20 tables as full tables.
Well, you better save me a table.
You need one?
I want a table.
You got
and I hope I'm a senator when I'm sitting at it.
I hope you are too. We need that.
I hope so.
But we got you locked.
All right.
You're in.
I want a table. Now, 1,800 acres. I know there's a lake on site for fishing. And now people don't know. So the ones that people don't know what we're talking about is you have ATVs, you have the wheelchairs, or
they're track chairs.
Track chairs that they can take out disabled vets on hunts, fishing, just whatever. Fenced in areas with deer, because you do the hunts.
Yep.
What are the big deer that are? I forget.
Elk. There's elk out there, and there's red stag. We
that's what it was.
First red stag this year.
Yeah, I saw the pictures on that. When I got the tour of the property, I mean, there's bear around. It's just, I didn't even know it existed, that property. Right. It's outside of Carbondale. It's just awesome. But But some of the issues that these guys have that want to come in, you're talking about veterans with, they have not only physical issues, but they have mental issues that were deployed, people that came back. Same thing with the first responders. What are some of the programs that you're doing for these folks?
Yeah, I think if we step back, because I'm talking to you because you know what we do.
Yeah, we better.
But for our listeners, what our tagline is healing heroes with outdoor adventures, and that's really a summary of what we do. But it's more than that. It's really who we are. What we do is we provide on that 1,800 acres. There's 2 ponds. There's 1.5 miles of the Lackawanna River.
Oh yeah, the river's
there is 26 miles of trails on the property. I mean, it is a gorgeous, as you know, beautiful, beautiful property, abundant wildlife, all of those things. And in the beginning, I actually thought what the activity was what really mattered. And as we grew and learned, it just matters that the activity is something that our vets or first responders want to do, that their families want to do. And so it became important for us to become diversified in activity. So we'll hike and we'll bike and we'll walk and we'll fish and we'll shoot and we'll hunt and we did snowshoeing and we did fat tire biking and we did, we're going to have a 7K coming up this summer that's going to be run there. We're partnering with Helping Heroes NEPA. We're doing that. I mean, we've become so diversified because in my mindset, what always bothers me is what if there's one vet, one first responder, one family member who their outlet is this and we're not providing it. And we have the grounds to do it. Now, you can only do so much with the personnel you have. You can only do so much because I want a standard of excellence. So I don't ever want to do more than we can do in an excellent manner, but I definitely want to maximize what that is. So to answer your question about, what do we do for vets? What do we do for first responders? First thing that I think our people, that everybody that's listening needs to understand is that isolation is a major issue with anybody who's experienced trauma. The pattern that I see all the time in the struggle, in the war of the mind is isolation, drugs and or alcohol. And a lot of times it's prescription drugs and then desperation. That's kind of the negative big 3. So isolation, drugs and alcohol, desperation. What we've done to offset that with our big 3, if you will, is peer-to-peer interaction. Everybody on my staff is either a veteran or first responder or a family member of. So everybody on the staff volunteered or came as a guest and was involved for quite a segment of time before they came on staff. So they understand the battle. They understand the war. We have 3 combat vets. We have non-combat vets. We have NCOs. We have officer. We have enlisted up to E4. We really covered the entire gamut. And so we understand, somebody understands, and we've all learned to understand anything that these individuals are struggling with. When we set it up, I really thought we would be 50% physical disabilities, 50% mental disabilities. And I don't even like that word.
No, I get it. I get it.
Just for a descriptive purpose, people understand that, but the reality is this, is that I thought we'd be 50-50 physical to mental, and it hasn't been that. It's 70-30, if not 80-20 mental battles over the physical. And so that was really, really shocking to me that there is that much need, and it's trauma based. So now, you lived the last 18 months in the middle of a pandemic, and now there's forced isolation. And anytime you take an outstanding, honorable man or woman who has experienced trauma and you say you have to do this, and it's built around isolation, created all kinds of issues. So our numbers spiked, which I'm glad we're there, and I'm glad we can handle those numbers, but it's also very telling about the depth of the problem. And if you do any research right now on numbers of mental issues that are going on in individuals' lives, for example, suicide, the battle of those who die by suicide, a lot of numbers right now in the veteran world is up to and over 60 suicides a day.
Wow.
You're not hearing that anywhere. No. Everybody's still talking 22, which I thought has always been low. But the reality is now there's some reports that are reporting we're seeing 60 a day.
Wow.
One is too many.
Wow.
And so what we do is we provide an outlet. We provide an opportunity to break that pattern of isolation, drugs, and or alcohol and desperation. And we insert ourselves actively into that process by peer-to-peer interaction, by camaraderie, which takes that peer-to-peer interaction to the next level. And then we do it wrapped around an outdoor adventure of any kind. And those three pieces, when they come together with genuine people who care for those guests who are coming, we've literally had the privilege of watching lives saved over and over and over again. And it's phenomenal to be a part of that process, to just be involved in it. I leave the premise every single day saying, man, how blessed am I to be able to be a part of this?
You're doing God's work there. There's no doubt about it.
It really is.
Well, when we put together the Lackawanna County Suicide Prevention Alliance, you jumped right on board. So I'm glad to have you there.
It's disheartening.
It's tough, but you know what? Got to keep working at it. That's all.
And the numbers have equally rose in first responder world. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
These are honorable men and women who run to danger every single day.
Yep.
They're experiencing trauma that you can't ever forget.
Nope. And some people, some people can handle it.
Yeah.
Some people deal with it. I've been a first responder all my life, and some of the things that I've had to deal with, it's pretty tough. Yeah. And there's few that stick in my mind I'll never forget. But other people can't deal with it sometimes. I don't know how I do, but I just do. But when I got out, even we were there a couple weeks ago, you had a breakfast, and it's just nice. You had the breakfast. Everybody was sitting around in the living room of the lodge, and everybody was telling their stories. And just letting them get it out has to, I mean, I know that's part of the therapy. It's good. And it's great to listen to it, to hear these people and some of the things that they're going through.
Yeah. With my guys that came as guests, started volunteering, became employees, what I learned through that process was if they can learn to share their story no longer has control over them. Mm-hmm. They don't stay captive to the story. It actually becomes the opposite. It becomes an agent of growth for them because now they're sharing their story and they're set free from ultimately the bondage that held them. Yeah. They're set free from it, and now they start seeing the good they can do with it. So by sharing their story, all of a sudden they've gone from the individual needing help to the individual who's helping. And you can't do that and not be encouraged. You can't do that and not be built up. You can't do that and not move forward in your own process.
Right.
And so I've seen the power of a story unleashed, a story released. And now I work with all of our guys, and our guys work with each other to kind of push forward in being able to share that story. And it's hard stuff. They're sharing stuff that you're not proud of. They're sharing decisions that you made that in some cases were horrific. Yeah. They're sharing decisions that were very drastic in their life, but they've learned that it helps them progress forward in their healing process.
Well, some of the stories, some of the stories that I've heard from your folks, I mean, these people were in rough shape.
Yeah.
Rough shape. So.
And those testimonies are all captured on our website too. Yep. I'd encourage anybody who's listening to go to campfreedompa.org and click where it says testimonials because it's heartbreaking. Be prepared.
It is. I watch them.
But it's victory. It's a story of victory. And all we want to do is encourage anybody, no matter what your battle is, no matter what your war is, no matter where your trauma came from, there's hope. And their hope comes in finding a new purpose. It comes in finding a new mission. It comes in finding, kind of that new defining moment in your life that takes you into a direction that you can repeatedly participate in.
Right.
And it really sets you free.
Well,
it's good stuff.
Our good friend Joe Crott gives a lot of time.
Joe's there. Warm weather, April until October, early November, every Monday and Tuesday, he's there.
Yeah.
And I love the guy to death, and he just comes there and wants to take on a new project. Last year, he launched our first ever garden.
That's right.
Built a huge garden for us and took care of it, and it's good for him.
He loves it.
But it's good for us.
Yes.
It's great to hang out with, that Vietnam era veteran. My heart breaks for them all the time because they were never thanked properly in that time frame. In fact, it was quite the opposite.
They weren't welcomed home, nothing.
And so those guys and ladies who were out there just serving their country, trying to do the right things, they were never received properly, in my opinion.
Right.
So anytime I can get around a Vietnam vet, I just want to talk to them. I just want to hear about their life. Many won't ever talk about what they experienced, and that's perfectly fine.
No.
But their grit, their drive, even though they've experienced years of a battle internally for many of them, their grit and their drive to grind through is always so impressive to me.
We got to get these stories.
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, we were talking to the World War II vets.
Yeah.
You know, my uncle, my grandfather's brother, was shot down over Berlin, spent, I think, 18 months in a German prison camp. He was lucky. He got home. But these stories are going to fade away. You know, we need to talk to these folks, and we need to hear what they've gone through. And, you know, we don't want to have to go through that stuff again.
No, and that's the other interesting thing is we serve any era. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, age, what era you served in, combat, not combat, doesn't matter. Law enforcement, whether you're sheriff's department, state police, local police, corrections, call center, you know, it doesn't matter where you fall. If you're running to danger in any fashion or form, we want you at camp.
Yeah.
And we want you to know you're coming somewhere safe, and you're coming somewhere secure, and you're coming somewhere where people are going to care for you.
Absolutely.
You know, and
absolutely.
that's what they need to know.
Well, and you mentioned our radio dispatchers, the 911 folks. Now, I mean, they're definitely first responders. A lot of them do things in the field, but they're there. And me as a first responder, when you get to a situation and you take care of somebody and you whatever it is, minor, major, and you take care of them and you see them off and hopefully you save their life and off they go in the ambulance or drop if you drop them. But these guys are on the radio and they're trying to help and they don't know what's going on. Sometimes they never hear how it ends.
Yeah, and they're the first responder.
Yes, they are.
They really are, you know.
Yes, they are.
That was an area that I didn't know a lot about. I didn't understand. I knew it was a very high stress job. I understood that. But I didn't understand that a lot of times they never get closure. They never know the rest of the story, you know. And not only that, they are surrounded in trauma, really the entirety of their time while they're on.
All day, every day.
Yeah, and so you talk about people who need an outlet, people who need a place to just escape to. And I don't care if you just want to come sit on the deck and watch a sunset.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. We provide that, you know, and it's a great thing. Well, so yeah, that's an important aspect.
And you know, I spend a lot of time at our 911 center just because I like everybody there and I enjoy it. It's just my thing. But they don't even know they're having an issue.
No.
You know, they really don't.
No,
but,
and that's important. Like a lot of first responders that I get to build great relationships with, a lot of times don't even recognize that the buildup of trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, they don't even recognize sometimes that continual buildup of being in the way of trauma is taking a toll on you. It's taking a toll on your core of who you are. And they're just so bent on doing good, which is awesome to see that sometimes they don't recognize their need of care, their need of help, their need of just somebody else to say, hey, you know, we love you and we care about you. And we recognize what you're doing. We recognize the hero that you are.
Yep.
You know.
So coming up this summer, since we're getting close, what do we got planned or what's happening? Like what's for coming up first?
Yeah, well, you know, right now there's people at camp right now gearing up for a rally race that's going to take place. So I mean,
the Jeep race.
No, this is a complete rally race. So there's rally race cars on Camp Freedom as we're sitting here, and they're going to run, and that's a really cool. I don't know. I guess I don't know when we're airing. So.
Next week we'll be on. Oh yeah, we'll be on.
It will have been last week that it will have run, but that's a really exciting first time event. This NEPA rally race organization came on campus and they're going to run their own event. We're the benefactor, so it'll be great for us. So that's cool. But
what day?
That's Saturday the 24th.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So
to get up there.
Yeah, May 15th. Is the next big event that we're going to have, which is really exciting, is we're going to have a 4x4 event. We started our own 4x4 organization called Downrange. Listen to me. Wow. that's really bad. Downrange 4x4 club, it's our own organization because we had a huge event up there last year, and we just thought, you know what, let's do our own
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
So we did, and it's open to all 4x4 vehicles, not any one type of. It's not Jeeps only. It's
Yeah.
not Fords only. It's none of that. It's any 4-wheel drive vehicle. And so we'll have a huge event on May 15th. It's going to be a great day. We'll have food vendors. We'll have all kinds of different courses that they can drive. We're building literally a world-class obstacle course up there.
All right, cool.
On the property for these vehicles that really want to go hardcore. We have easy courses, hard courses,
All right.
activities, lots of good stuff.
That's going to be awesome.
People can register for that right on our website under events, and you'll see that 4x4 event.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one.
The cool thing about that day is we have a really great partnership with Counts Customs. They built a 69 Nova for us. They've now built 2 more vehicles that we're going to be on the show again. We went out and filmed about a month ago. So we're going to be on their show sometime between now and May 15th. And we're going to launch 2 more vehicles for a raffle. But for the May 15th event, Horny Mike, Ryan, and Billy are coming in from Counts Customs. And they're going to be there all day. And then that night, we're doing a very limited 50-person VIP dinner event. We're roasting a pig. We're going to have all kinds of specialty foods and hors d'oeuvres and desserts, and really doing a really nice event for only 50 people that are going to come to that event. And you'll have picture opportunities with the guys from Counts and all kinds of raffles and opportunities to participate. We did it last year, and it was a blast. So that's happening on the 15th tonight. In between those 2 events, Garrett Schultz, who is an up-and-coming country artist, one of our big supporters, he's going to do a concert from 4 to 6 on the property.
Wow.
And so lots of stuff on May 15th.
It's going to be
cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to all this good stuff coming. Yeah. How about a car show? You doing that again this year?
We're not going to. We had to step back from a couple things just because
you can't
of the
handle
schedule.
It all. Yeah. Okay.
And so we backed off of that. But the cool thing is we backed off, and then a car club stepped in, and they're doing a show right down here at Hotel Anthracite. Well, not down here, down
Carbondale.
there. Yeah, in Carbondale at the Hotel Anthracite. And they're going to do a car show and have named us as the benefactor. So that's a cool opportunity, for us to be engaged in that space, but not have to put on the whole event. So that was really, really great. And then June 19th is our second annual banquet. We talked about it a little earlier.
Yeah.
You had a great night there. Really, everybody had a great night there. And this year, we have 30 tables, and 20 of them, now 21, have already sold. And a table's $2,500, and it entails 10 people for your meal, your food, door prizes, but it entails a premium firearm also.
Yeah.
Last year we actually had Tommy guns on the table, and this year it's just going to be better. It's even going to be beyond that. So we're really excited about what that is and what that evening will be. But we'll have 300 people in the room that night. And going back to Counts Customs, Danny, the Count, is coming in for that night.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's going to come in and help me kind of, guest MC a little bit with us and have some fun. And Kevin, his right-hand man, is also coming in. So that event is really important to us. It's our largest fundraiser up here, in Lackawanna County. It's our largest fundraiser of the year for us.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that. It was a blast. So, so now for the summer, you have any, you do hunt? What do you do during the summertime as far as events or, for the folks that need to come up?
Yeah, what we do is we're open every day.
Right.
And so we literally at this point have vets and first responders on the property daily. So they'll come up and they'll bring their family and they'll go fish, they'll go for a hike, they'll go walk, they'll ride the bikes, they'll do whatever, just something outdoors. And so we have ongoing guests every day. In the month of May, we will probably do about 4 hunts again for turkey in the month of May, and that'll be a great opportunity there. And then all summer long, we'll do activities that are day-based. No overnight stay, just day-based, and continue to just do any outdoor activity during those. And then towards the end of the summer, August 14th, we do what we call our summer salute. And this is just where we say all veterans, all first responders, come to Camp Freedom for the day. We cover the expenses. It's just a come. We want to say thank you to you and your family. And each of the last 2 years, that event has really grown. And we target Lackawanna and Wayne County. And this year we're adding Susquehanna County.
Okay.
And saying first responder veterans, come bring your family. But it's going to be an all-day concert. There's food, there's vendors. We do a fishing derby with the kids. It's a fun special day. And so that is a special day, just recognizing these heroes and what they mean to us. So that's a singular opportunity there.
All right.
And then, then that runs us into the fall, and we'll do 14 straight weeks of hunts. That is really, they're 4-day extended stay events that we do. And they're a great time and really have impact because of the length of stay.
Right. And all this stuff is on the website?
All of it, yep.
So tell us the website again so we don't forget.
It's Camp Freedom PA, campfreedompa.org is the website.
Well, got to check it out. Well, I look forward to coming up. I just wish I could get there more. My schedule doesn't always allow it, but I'm looking forward to getting back up there, hopefully a lot this summer, and hopefully participate in some of the stuff that you're going to be doing. But I just love coming up. So we have some new buildings. I know you built a new facility. Well, the house itself.
Yeah. The house is actually, it's a 1991 Coons Brother log home is what it is.
Okay.
And we renovated that completely. It was in really rough
really
shape.
Nice.
Yeah. So we renovated that, and we can host right now up to 7 extended stay individuals in that facility, which is great. We just renovated completely the outbuilding, our big barn, we call it. But we renovated that because the work that we do, the need for servicing all of our machinery, our equipment, our vehicles is endless. You mentioned before ATVs, UTVs, but also our equipment that we work with, which is massive.
You have excavators,
bulldozers, skid steers, tractors, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. We farm in essence, but we're farming for food plots in order to greatly benefit. We're conservationists, and sometimes when you mention hunting, people don't understand that conservation angle, but we take care of the ground in a stellar manner because we care about the wildlife, and we know that it's a sustainable resource that we want to continue to have and thrive on that property. So we've planted over 50 acres of food plots on that property that we've built out and now plant every year. And it's exciting stuff. So, that's all part of the equation. Yeah. And it's also where we get first responders and veterans who have certain expertise in farming perhaps, or in running equipment, and they come up and they help and they volunteer in those great capacities and really help us out.
Well, it's great. I'll tell you. Well, what else would you like? Anything else that we missed? I think we touched on a lot of things.
We covered it. Yeah,
we covered it. But main thing is it's open every day. Everyone's welcome.
Yes.
Donations are always welcome, and that's
volunteers too. Donations, volunteers, you're hitting it. That's key.
No, we need to promote that, and people need to get out and see it to really get an idea. You don't realize how big 1,800 acres is until you start milling around there and you're in the Jeep.
It's massive.
It's a big area.
It is,
and just a great place. But I really appreciate you coming on. We'll get this word out. Hopefully, we'll get some donations coming and maybe some volunteers, but I look forward to getting out there soon, and
thank you.
I look forward to it.
Thank you for what you've done as an individual. Thank you for what you've done as a county commissioner. And for those who are listening that are in this region, make sure you get out and vote for Chris, May 18th.
That's right.
Big day, day. And we really need that to take place because we know firsthand how much you care for the people of this area, and we appreciate it because we get to see it firsthand.
Thank you. And
thank you.
I want people to be, fully aware. I'm not looking to get out of. I love my job. I love it. This is an opportunity for me to really be able to do more for this region.
That's right.
As a senator, I'm a minority commissioner, so sometimes things are tough. Even though we've been able to do a few things for Camp Freedom, but I just want to do a little bit more and a little bit more for our region. So I'm looking forward to that too. Even though I can't lose. It's a no-lose situation for me either way. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really working hard. But appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll be up soon. I hope people get up there, and we'll see you around.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too. Well, that was a great show with Matt. I really appreciate him coming on. We learned an awful lot about what goes on at Camp Freedom. It's a great place. I encourage everyone to go on their website, check it out, donate if you can. If you'd like to get involved or go up and volunteer, go see these guys. It's a great place. I love to go. So coming up next week, first of all, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have some guests coming on next week. We have Onukiavage and Owen Dougherty, and they're from NAMI of Scranton and Northeast PA, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It's a great group of people. They do some great work. They're part of our county Suicide Prevention Alliance, and she was very important on getting that going. So I appreciate Marie and Owen coming on. So looking forward to that. So remember, this is all paid for by the Friends of Chris Chermak. So if you like this episode or any of the other episodes and you'd like to donate, that's always appreciated. We could always use the money. But I appreciate everybody coming on, watching the show. Please share if you can. Tell your friends. Let's get the word out. And we'll see you next week.